BRB. Take that off the screen. Yeah, cooking dinner. Cooking dinner's another way that I can be creative, and it's also part of my hobbies and interests, like I would say. But obviously, somewhere in there, I'm snacking. I don't really know. Somewhere between protein shake and breakfast at 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'll eat. I usually feed the kids when they get home about 4 p.m. Maybe I'll put snacks because I do eat. Hanging out with the kids slash snacks. Because usually when they come home, like they're hungry, like they want to start eating, and I'll usually have a snack around them too. So from 4 to 6 p.m. I'll have like a light snack, usually mixed nuts or something like that. I like to eat almonds and pecans, and like we have sunflower seeds and stuff like that. And the kids will usually, like our oldest, our 12-year-old loves cereal. Like he'll come home and have a bowl of cereal in the middle of the day. I'm like, okay, man, like however you feel. Like I don't know about milk during the hot weather. I'm lactose intolerant though, so. But and chips, they'll eat chips. Like they'll usually eat these. You can at Walmart you can buy a package of those little mini chips that you can put in lunches and stuff. You can get a big package of like 20 of those, and they'll have like assorted varieties that the kids can munch on. So we'll usually do like I won't. I usually don't eat like. I try to stay away from processed or prepackaged food. So that goes for like chips and cookies and donuts. Like that's donuts isn't really processed or prepackaged. Like usually those are fresh baked. So, but I'll try to stay away from sugar too. Like any kind of granulated sugar. If I'm getting sugar in something, ideally I'll have uh, honey or like a real syrup, like a maple syrup or something like that. I'll use honey or syrup in as a sweetener. Like even with my coffee, I put honey in my coffee, and it's a weird taste at first to transition from sugar to that. And it's actually really hard if you've ever actually tried to get off of like white sugar, uh, the the packaged sugar or whatever that you get. Um, you start getting headaches and like you feel bad, but it's an addiction. It really is. It's an addiction, and yeah, usually for snacks I'll try to avoid like sweets and stuff like that. And like I wouldn't say like I'm on a diet. Jeanette, like my wife, she always asks me, "Are you on a diet? Are you trying to?" Because like whenever I'd be doing these things, like at first it was really weird to her that I started eating this way and waiting so late to eat and stuff like that, because it's kind of a mixture of intermittent fasting and I don't know what kind of diet it would be, but like it's I don't think there's any prescribed diet that I follow. I just don't eat sugar. Like I stay away from sugar, and it could be called intermittent fasting. Like I do intermittent fasting and stay away from sugar. Also lactose. Like I stay away from dairy. It's not vegan. Like, and I'm not a vegetarian because I eat meat. So, um, but for me, like being lactose intolerant, the more I can stay away from dairy, the better off I am. So, and it's really helped me clean my body. Like my body is cleaned out to a point to where if I try something different or new, then I can feel the effects of that on my body. And like if I eat a pizza, like I don't have as much energy, and well, no, not necessarily. If I eat too much pizza, like if I have pizza 2 or 3 times in a week, or something like that, then I feel the effects of it. I have lower energy state. Like I feel like it's like a mental fog that comes over me. Like my thoughts aren't formulating as clearly, and it's something that I don't realize until I stop doing that. Like because I realize like the next week if I don't eat any pizza and I follow the schedule you see here, like my thoughts are more clear, and like I realize that I'm more productive, and it's almost as if the fog is lifted. Like you don't feel most of these things like that you try for your lifestyle or your diet, you don't know the benefit of until you try it. Like meditation is another thing like that. Like you don't know what you don't know. So like whenever you don't when you don't ever meditate your whole life, and then you give yourself time and patience to do it, and if you're doing it properly, then you realize, oh, like you've been this is a tool that you could use that has been like something that can help you get stuff done, or can help you be in a better state of mind. Like that's another thing is like I heard this guy talking about, and I subscribed to him actually just yesterday. He said that he switches his diet up. He has like he'll do the paleo diet, and then he'll go and do intermittent fasting, and then he'll come off of those things, and he won't do the paleo diet, and he won't do intermittent fasting. He'll be a vegan, and then he'll stop being a vegan, and he'll be a vegetarian, then he'll stop being a vegetarian. And he's like a big workout buff, so like hundreds of thousands of people, I think almost 1 million people follow this guy on YouTube. And he said every time he does or comes off a thing, like he gets a huge response from all his viewership about like, oh, I thought you were a vegan, you can't be eating this and all that and all this, that, and the other. And oh, intermittent fasting, I thought you were an intermittent faster, like how come you stopped doing this, that, and the other. And the guy, the way he put it was, if I'm gonna build a house, like I'm gonna need more tools than just a hammer. And he said, for me, like these lifestyle choices, these things that I do with my diet, and the things that I do with my fitness and stuff like that, they're tools. Like you don't want to come to build a house with just a hammer. Like you want a saw, and you want like wood, and you want to have like cement and concrete, and like what all the stuff it takes to build a house. Like you need all those tools. Like you can't just get it done with just one tool, or you probably could, but you could get it done a lot more efficiently with multiple tools. And that's what these are. It's like the schedule that I'm talking about here, the different things that I do within it. These are all just tools that have helped me personally come out of depression, and it's helped me personally become like I believe a better person, not just for myself but for those around me. Like I'm more useful to people around me whenever I'm doing things like this. And it's kind of what I've done to like mitigate like becoming sedentary. Like I hear like as a gamer specifically, like I've been in guilds in World of Warcraft where like one of our guildies can't make it to the raid because he's a guy about my age who sat at his computer too long and got a blood clot in his leg and had to go to the ER. And he's still chatting to us from his phone about the game even while he's in the ER, like, and talking about like raiding and doing all these things whenever he gets out of the ER, like going straight back to that lifestyle. And like that's what you need the stretching and the workout for. And like if you're not doing well in the game that you're playing, maybe your meditation isn't up on par. Like maybe you haven't cleared your mind so you can actually have that ability to focus on something that matters to you later on. And that's what it is. It's like this is all to recharge my batteries to do things like that I care about, like my personal development and hanging out with the kids. Like I can bring a better daddy to playtime if I'm healthy and like interested and engaged. Like the stretches and the cardio workout and stuff like that, like I'm more recharged whenever I have my cold shower, protein shake, meditation, and personal development stuff. Because part of personal development is also stretching and workout. Like the hobbies and interests, I would actually consider fitness a hobby or an interest that I do that helps me. Because like I could also be a bicyclist, I could go bicycling, or I could also be a marathon runner and do marathons. And I could also be like one of those Iron Man guys that does like triathlons and shit. But like for me, like I don't need badges and rewards for what I'm doing. Like for me, the reward is I can come to my hanging out with the kids and cooking dinner and morning stream with a better version of me. And for me that's a reward. If I can bring more of myself to those things that I care about, like the core things are my family and my streaming and my mental state. Like if I can be in my if I can have my mental state be better and my body to be like physically tuned, like I'm participating better in my family and hanging out with them, and I'm participating more in my personal development and researching my hobbies and interests. Like I'm getting better. It's just better. Like I don't know how else to explain it. I just become better at those things, and I get more from those things whenever I do them. So like this is all just like a very basic, like it's not much. It's really not. It's just like, what is this? How many? Two? And then right here I got one, two, three, four, five, and then two more after that. So seven, eight, nine. Nine different things I do every day consistently. Like this is, if nothing else is going on in my life, these nine things are my foundation. It's the structure from which I can build upon with other things. Cooking dinner for me is like a really nice thing too. It's almost like a meditative, creative outlet. Like I was saying earlier, it's almost as if the less ingredients I have, the better I make stuff because I have less options. That was going to also bring me to a point about like options and choices. One of the things that kind of initially sparked my depression was when I got out of the military. I had this Montgomery GI Bill and this post 9/11 GI Bill, and that's college money and tuition paid for. And I was like a kid in the candy store. Like I could go to any college up to the amount of the most expensive college in Texas's tuition cost would allow. So the most expensive college in Texas was like some kind of a, it was like a trade school for aeronautical engineering or some shit in Texas, and like that raised the amount of money I could get from tuition up some astronomical amount. So I pretty much had my pickings. Like I could pick whichever school or study or trade that I wanted after the military to go uh, learn, and it put me in a state of paralysis. Like having that many options, you don't want to make the wrong choice. It's like being in the analogy I use is kid in the candy store. It's like being a kid in the candy store, and your mom or your dad tells you pick one. You got a whole store of candy, shelves lined from the floor to the ceiling, from the wall to the wall, like of just all these different types of candy. And when you can only choose just one, you want to make sure you make the right choice, and that's paralyzing sometimes. It's like I can only try just one, so I want the best one or the one that I get the most bang for my buck out of. Like, you know what I mean? So like a smart kid will go and get a bag of candy that has a bunch of other candies in them, like a mixed variety sort, instead of just buying one Snickers bar. And another thing too is like following the theme with dinner. Like if you're gonna cook pasta, like if you're gonna make some spaghetti, you go to the store and you pick out a spaghetti sauce. Good luck with that shit, because not only do you got Prego and Ragu and uh, Borelli or whatever the different brands are, and whatever your local market has, like for all these like custom spaghetti sauces. Like not only do you have all those brands to choose from, you have all of the different variety that those brands offer. It's almost like a whole section. It literally is. It's its own section in the store of spaghetti sauce. And you got you roasted garlic herb, You got chunky, meaty tomato, and you got like